What is going on, guys? So I've been using the Elite controller, the first one, for 10 months straight, and I think it's time for me to give a long-term review of how my very first Pro controller has treated me. So if I could make one sentence to describe this controller, I gotta say it's an amazing controller, but at the same time it's not a great controller in the long term. This controller, man, it's been giving me a lot of annoying issues, and it's really disappointing because I do love a lot of the features that this controller has. Anyways, I'm gonna kind of give a quick introduction. Well, not a quick introduction, but an introduction to what got me wanting to try the Elite One, and then I'll talk about the things that I like coming from using a stock controller or using my Power A Spectra, which is kind of like a hybrid of a stock and Pro controller. And then I'll talk about the long-term issues that I've had while using this guy, and I think I'll end it with a conclusion. Hopefully this video isn't too long. Alright, so I bought this controller almost a year ago. I liked my Power A Spectra so much, and that was kind of my little entryway to the Pro controller, and I kind of wanted to really try out what it's like to have a full-out Pro controller. And I was thinking about Hex Gaming. I believe that's the one that I was keeping my eye on, but at the same time it didn't have the four back buttons or four paddles, so I thought about maybe trying an Elite 2. And what prevented me from getting an Elite 2 was I couldn't buy a new one because at that time there was a lot of shortage on the electronic resources. So the Elite 2 prices is skyrocketed. It was $265 for a brand new Elite 2. Unlike today's time, it's $140, I believe. And I was looking in the used market. It was definitely more affordable, but at the same time still a bit pricey. And then I thought to myself, why don't I get a Elite 1? And I checked the prices for the Elite 1, and they were so freaking cheap, and that's what convinced me to buy an Elite 1. This guy was actually the best condition that I found, and it was at a reasonable price, so I decided to get the Elite 1. And another reason why I wanted to get an Elite was Hex Gaming. I've checked the shipping time. It was really long. I think it was 2 months. You have to wait for 2 months, and I'm I don't want to deal with that. So that's another reason why I went with the Elite. Alright, so going from the stock controller, which I've used for a long time, and of course the Power A Spectra, this guy is definitely it totally feels premium without a doubt. I mean, I love the look of it. Got that nice black and chromed out look to it. It has a little, what is it, different profiles that you could use, which has special configurations for your back paddles. What else? What else do I like about this? So, the interchangeable D-pad is very cool. Definitely, I have tried, messing around with, the standard D-pad and the disc D-pad. I think the disc D-pad is definitely really good for, it's definitely, more designed for, fighting games, but I still think it's really nice to have it. Even, for first-person shooters, when I'm playing Doom Eternal, this is, my, what is it, the grenade button. I feel when I'm playing the game, I feel I could have a better idea of, where my thumbs are at on the D-pad, because, obviously when I'm playing a game, I don't want to, look down at my controller, because, you really want to pay attention on, your monitor or your TV. And of course, the trigger stops. I do use it for the left trigger. I really like it. And this controller does have an app, and I totally take advantage of the little the in-game app system. It's really cool. I have customized my dead zones for the triggers to be super responsive, and it's so game changing, especially when you fire a gun, you just gently press it and it'll just immediately come out, which is really awesome. I have messed around with some of the responsiveness of the thumbsticks. I use the most responsive one, and it's really nice too. It's definitely, in my opinion, it's pretty much a must if you play shooters, because you can just aim more smoother and all of that jazz. And as much I love like the Xbox controllers throughout the years, I've always liked having like the dome sticks on the left on like my movement, section. I just feel like having a dome stick is definitely more smoother when you're kind of like moving around and playing like whatever games that you play. I just think you have better like control over that. And I do like how it's mid-length too. Like, can you see? Yeah. I believe the Elite 1 is actually the only controller that has like this mid-length dome stick, which is absolutely awesome and definitely game-changing, especially for Doom Eternal and Doom 2016. When I'm quick switching, because I do use this thumbstick to quick switch, I do feel like this allows me to kind of like be able to switch to like that weapon that I want to switch when I'm in like heated situations. And of course the paddles. It did take me a while to like get used to these paddles because they are like very responsive and they kind of get in like your way when you're holding the controller, but it is very practical to like get used to them. And yes, I do use 3 paddles. I use 1 to 3 paddles depending the game, and I'll eventually kind of talk more about like that later on throughout the video. But yeah, like on day 1, this controller, my like first taste of having like a pro gaming controller, it feels amazing. Oh yeah, and I forgot, it does have like this special like soft grip that is similar to the Power A Spectra, but it's way more like higher quality, and it's really, really nice too. It just gives you a good grip. And same thing on the back, it does have like this grip, which is very comfortable. I will eventually talk about what happened to this guy in the durability section. Okay, so what else am I missing here? I think that kind of covers up everything. Oh yeah, there's all these like thumbsticks too, and I will eventually kind of talk about my stock controller later on. But yeah, I do kind of mess around with some of the thumbsticks here. Like, it's really cool that you can try to like mess around. Unfortunately, I can't really grab that one, but this is like the long thumbstick, and I do use that sometimes when I'm playing Halo. When I need like cause like I like using the long thumbsticks for games that kind of like require more like long range shooting. I do feel like the longer thumbsticks really make a difference for that, and I do like the longer thumbstick for like twin stick shooters, because I do think like it gives your thumb a better like grip when you're kind of like gliding through like your controller, because that's how like you play you play twin stick shooters. There's just like a lot of like this, and sometimes your thumbs could be like in a weird like position like that, so that's why I like having the longer grip. And I think that should pretty much cover all like the stuff that I enjoy from from like a stock controller player to like a pro to like a pro controller user. Alright, yeah, I think that's it. So let's get into like the long-term issues here. And my god, where do I start here? So, without a doubt, the first thing that I had problem was the freaking grips. My left hand definitely sweats a lot more compared to my right. Because look, see, this is still like really intact, still glued. And I don't know if you guys could see like the sweat marks there. You see? Like, my left hand really starts to sweat like crazy when I'm playing in long hours. And yeah, eventually this guy, it pretty much peeled off. I mean, it's still pretty comfortable to use, but I do love like having that grip. It is a nice feeling. And then eventually I had some stick drift issues. I still remember like when it happened. I was playing Doom Eternal. Super Gorness Master level is on the final arena before the escape sequence, and yeah, I remember I was just trying to aim up, and then all of a sudden my guy was like moving all the way up at a pretty reasonable like pace, and I couldn't like aim at all, and this put me in a very weird position. And for some weird reason, obviously I had to stop the game. I tried to I tried to figure out like to see like what was wrong with it, and I started blowing air. Like I would kind of like take out this controller and take out like the thumbstick here. Yeah, like this, and then I'll just kind of like blow air into it, and it fixes it for some weird reason. Yeah, it basically fixed it for some weird reason, but unfortunately lately it seems like that trick doesn't work anymore, and sometimes the stick drift comes back, and it's really bad. Like sometimes it makes this controller almost unplayable to play, and then sometimes the drift doesn't come back and it becomes playable, and it's pretty annoying, man. Like, I feel like, you know, for like a controller at this price, I feel like I should not, you know, I should not be dealing with that type of stuff. Also, my D-pad here, this guy right here, unfortunately, started to go bad. Now, like, I have to really press it super hard. And this is definitely a problem for, like, Doom Eternal and Halo Infinite, because this is, like, my grenade, like, switch button. I have to press it really hard for it to register, and, yeah, that's pretty annoying. And my left bumper, unfortunately, suffered really badly. So it looks like it's working. I mean, it looks like it's a completely, you know, workable bumper, but look at this. It's actually cracked open, and that's because, what is it? I was playing Doom Eternal, and yeah, eventually, this is like my jump button, right? So I use this a lot, and eventually this started to crack open, and unfortunately, the left bumper has deteriorated so badly. Basically, sometimes this thing, it won't even register, and then sometimes it'll register, and then sometimes it does like a double tap, like a double input registration. So this left bumper is pretty much dead to me on Doom Eternal or Doom 2016. I cannot use this, and I have to press this really hard for it to like register. And I can't like, so you see, I'm pressing it. No registration. I have to press it like right there for it to register. So every time I play Modern Doom, I have to kind of use this button to jump, which is kind of lame, but whatever, I guess. Alright, what else? I know there's another issue I did encounter. Oh, yeah. My freaking mic. What is it? The little, like, mic input thing. Sometimes I get some really, like, staticky, some staticky sound while playing with the headset. And, yeah, when that happens, it really makes me feel like something's wrong with, like, the little mic input. And that's not good. But lately, it seems like it kind of went away, which is a good thing, I guess. But I don't know, man. Like, this controller, man, it's just been such a headache. Like, I really do love it, but the more I play with it, the more it's just kind of like getting me all paranoid, you know? And, lately, my right bumper is starting to kind of go bad. Sometimes it doesn't seem to register. And as you can see, like, my right bumper is in very good condition. Like, you see? Like, it pretty much behaves like how, like, a standard Xbox bumper should work. And all the paddles still work, which is great. What else? Is there anything else I want to talk about? Yeah, that's pretty much it for like the issues that I've encountered, and it's pretty bad, man. Especially for a controller at this price, and what is it? All those issues I bumped into, like they were kind of like happening pretty frequently, man. Like it was pretty ridiculous. Basically, every time like I hop on and I use this controller, like I'm just bound to like have issues. Like the more I play with it, and I just couldn't believe like how bad the build quality is, man. And unfortunately, you know, I do feel like I'm gonna have to like replace this guy eventually, but I don't really know like, you know, what I'm gonna replace it with. Okay, I'm back. So sorry, I had to kind of like I got a little distraction while I was recording this video. But yeah, I don't really know what I'm gonna replace this guy with, man. Like, you know, I thought about like maybe I should try to give this guy a second chance, but I don't really know if I want to. And I do want to say like I did buy this used. So yeah, you know, you could probably argue like you shouldn't bought this controller used, but the thing is, buying a brand new Elite 1 controller nowadays is like $500 because this is such an old controller and it's discontinued. So the prices are going to be ridiculously expensive, and I personally don't think it's worth burning that money. But when I did bought the controller used, it was actually in really good condition. The only thing that was kind of like a red flag was the guy didn't tell me like the down D-pad was busted. But it's okay, you know, I still had like the paddle that I could use, so I was still able to tolerate it. My buttons were kind of like sticky, like my buttons were really sticky when I first got this controller, but eventually the stickiness kind of, it became like gone. Sometimes I'll have like a little bit of sticking, but it doesn't impact gameplay, so my buttons are actually pretty much perfect. But yeah, you know, it's really sad that, yeah, and sometimes this guy will just kind of like flop open. It's really annoying. But yeah, that's my experience with the Elite One controller. As much I love this controller, it's just starting to become a headache. And I've used it for 10 months. When I first got the controller, it did feel pretty used up. I would probably say like this is like at least 3 years old in terms of usage. And my god, in 3 years you're going to be bumping all of these kinds of issues. I don't know if it's really worth it, even though like I did check like the prices just to see like how much you can get for like an Elite controller in the used market. It's definitely still like very affordable and it's still attractive, but I don't know if it's really worth it, like it seems like it's a gamble, like you gotta really just pray that you get like a really good one, because like I said, there's no way you could buy like a new one at a reasonable price nowadays. I thought about like maybe I should like get an Elite 2, because now like the Elite 2 is $140 and you have like the 1-year warranty, or maybe I could buy like extended warranty. And when you buy the Elite 2 controller, these paddles can actually still be used for like the back buttons. So if I don't like the Elite 2 paddles, I could still use the Elite 1 paddles. So I could still salvage this guy in a way. But I've always heard a lot of experiences that the Elite 2 apparently is much worse than this guy in terms of build quality and reliability. And yeah, I don't really know if I want to go through that process again. That's kind of like the thing that's really preventing me from getting an Elite 2. I've also heard Scuff is terrible, and this is from like people who actually own a Scuff and they're not sponsored by Scuff, because anybody that's sponsored by Scuff, they generally give it really good reviews for obvious reasons. So yep, Scuff is pretty much not an option for me, and not only that, their controllers are mad expensive. Like I really don't think it's worth the price here. So yeah, I don't really know what I'm going to be, getting for my replacement. I mean, right now I'm still using like my PowerA Spectra, which is still going fine after like, after like heavy gaming. But I do really want like a, full out pro controller, because like I said, like the Elite One, man, like I really love so much of like its features, so much of its quality of life. Like it really does. Like, what is it? I actually went back to like my stock controller, like my freaking 6-year-old stock controller, and it just feels so weird compared to like, after like playing with this guy for so long. Even though my stock controller, it's 6 years old, and you could see like, look at these thumbsticks, they're completely used up. The stick tension, like there's almost like no stick tension. It's mad dirty. What is it? Yeah, you can see like the triggers and all that stuff. 6 years of use and abuse, wear and tear. But believe it or not, this guy is a 10 out of 10 in terms of functionality in 6 years of playtime. This guy is not a 10 out of 10 in 3 years of playtime. So that's like a problem right there. Like this, you see, like that's a problem here. Like this guy is definitely more expensive than the stock controller. And obviously, you can get like a stock controller like on sale. So you could probably get it for like $40. And if something like goes wrong, it's not really like a big deal, because it's it's not as pricey compared to like this guy, where if an Elite controller goes wrong, like that's just a big deal, because yeah, you have to spend like another $100 or something to get another one, and you're gonna have like a bunch of spare parts that you don't even want. Yeah, I'm pretty much in a controller crisis right now. Don't really know what I want to like be using as far as like my main controller goes, because I do love this. I love this guy, and I haven't really want to like go back to my stock controller, even though I still keep it just for backup. But yeah, right now I'm just basically using this guy just for like experimentation purposes. I'm just trying to see like how much worse it's gonna get in terms of its reliability. And like I said, recently my right bumper is starting to act a little bit funky here, so I think that's going to be the next thing. So yeah, that's pretty much like my experience with the Elite controller, the first one in 10 months. All I gotta say is I like it, but I don't know if it's really worth it in the long run, and that's going to be like up to you. I guess this is like a good video for like a buyer beware type of situation, because like I said, the Elite 2, I've heard it also has like a lot of problems, just like the first one. So you might want to be a bit cautious with buying the Elite 2. Although the Elite 2 seems to be like the better deal, because like I said, you could buy a brand new one, you get warranty, you can buy the extended warranty just in case things go wrong. But buying the Elite 1, I think it's probably a hard pass, even though there are some really good, like, you know, deals and good prices that you can get these guys for. But like I said, you're probably going to bump into issues and you're going to have to deal with it, and there won't be any warranty. Anyways, thank you for watching this video, and yeah, if I do have like any more like tech related videos that I can make, I'll probably upload them.